Let's look at who were the pioneers of professional boxing in India. In modern times, I would say the credit goes to the late Dronacharya awardee Umprakash Bhardwaj. He was a chief national coach. So way back in the 90s, when he used to be going for various competitions to Thailand, Europe, and so on, he met professional boxing managers around the world. And that is when he got an idea, why not try our Indian boxers? And therefore, the first few candidates were Devarajan, Rajkumar Sangwan, and Dharmender Yadav. Rajkumar Sangwan, who is an Arjuna awardee, was that time ranked number 4 in the world in heavyweight. As far as Devrajan is concerned, an Olympian boxer, Arjuna awardee, and Dharmender Yadav was also an Olympian and Arjuna awardee. All three of them went to London. They got themselves registered as part of UK team for the Boxrec, and then they participated in various professional boxing bouts under a manager and the trainer there. Dharmender Yadav had 6 straight wins in professional boxing, and similarly Rajkumar Sangwan and Devrajan also did quite well. But unfortunately, maybe because of the cold, maybe the weather was not suiting, and some other reasons, all three of them then decided to come back to India. This was the period 95-96, that was the time it happened. Unfortunately, at that time, India did not have any proper professional board, sanctioning body like we have the Indian Boxing Council these days. Maybe if we had a body, then possibly the history of professional boxing in India would have been quite different. A few years after our 3 professional boxers returned from UK, Gurcharan Singh, who was at Sydney Olympics, lost a very narrow bout in the quarterfinals, whereby he missed a bronze medal at least. And after that, he was quite disappointed, and he turned professional and went over to the US. There, he had a straight run of 20 victories from the period of 2001 to 2010. Probably the best ever performance by a professional boxer from India. He also was going in for the World Championship title fights, but unfortunately in 2010, in his 20th fight, he lost a bout and he was injured, whereby his professional boxing career came to an end. I should say, I was quite fortunate that I knew all the 4 boxers and the late Umprakash Bhardwaj quite well. Incidentally, Umprakash Bhardwaj was a physical training instructor with the Army Physical Training Corps, and I also happened to be from the APTC, before which I was commissioned into the 2 Jat Regiment, the Multan Battalion, and then I retired from the Army Physical Training Corps. As far as the boxers are concerned, well, I was connected with them because I was the referee and judge for most of their events during the national championships, and I also accompanied them for quite a few international tournaments as a referee and judge. Let me inform you that professional boxing in India probably started in the 40s, 50s in a place called Chennai too, then known as Madras. So in North Madras, there used to be a few families who were very much into professional boxing. They had their own set of rules then. This has been converted into a movie called Sarpattu Parambarai in Tamil. It's worth watching this movie. You know, the director and the producer has got the nuances of professional boxing right, in which they show you the professional boxer, how the bouts are coming through, how there's a trainer, a promoter, a manager, second, cutman, how the prize money is worked out, how the challenges are done, how the ticketing is done, how sponsorships come in. Everything has been touched in that. So it actually depicts the whole gamut of professional. The history of boxing dates back to 3000 BC in Greece. In subsequent years, it has been taking place in many other countries, including the Roman Empire. If you look at modern day boxing, boxing used to be a very famous sport in the UK and later on in the Americas too. As far as proper organizations are concerned, there are many small organizations who are conducting professional boxing. If you were to look at a set of different international organizations, I should say the start was 1915 when they started the American Boxing Organization. Subsequently, in 1921 came the National Boxing Association, the NBA. And in 1929, the British Boxing Board of Control was formed. 1962 was the time when the NBA converted itself into the WBA, the World Boxing Association, because by then foreign countries were also participating. So 1963, the WBC or the World Boxing Council was formed, because then those people who were in WBA, a few of them got together and said, well, WBA is controlled by a pure American based organizations. Therefore, non-American organizations got together and started the WBC. 1983, the International Boxing Federation was formed, and 1988, the World Boxing Organization, the WBO, was formed. So these are the four sanctioning bodies of professional boxing. In addition to sanctioning world title fights, the world sanctioning bodies also decide who's the boxer whom the champion should meet next, and he's called the mandatory challenger. And in case the champion refuses to play against the mandatory challenger, then the title is vacated. So then how do you choose the next fighters for that title? Well, you have one mandatory challenger, and then an eliminator is conducted, and the winner of the eliminator round is the next mandatory challenger with the earlier one, and that's how it goes on. In addition to all these, the world sanctioning bodies also nominates a supervisor, referees and judges for the title fights, and the world sanctioning bodies do charge sanction fees and for the belt for which the boxers are playing. So the amounts are paid for by the promoter. National Boxing Commissions. These are those bodies in each country that regulates and sanctions pro boxing fights in that country. They are the organizations which provide licensing of all boxers, promoters, managers, and various other personnel connected with professional boxing. However, one thing needs to be understood is that national sanctioning bodies cannot themselves conduct any fights, and because that's only done by the promoters. Therefore, because if at all a National Boxing Commission were to conduct fights of their own, it becomes conflict of interest, and that's an important point to be understood. And the National Boxing Commissions in each country, they conduct seminars for referees, judges, doctors, and so on. So basically, they are the ones who provide a platform for the promoters, for the boxers, and for all those connected with professional boxing to ensure that proper boxing fights are conducted. And once the events are done, they help in sending the results across to Boxrec, which I mentioned earlier is an international record keeper. Boxer Registry. Any entity recognized by the world sanctioning bodies to record results and keep record of all the boxers, their identification, all the bouts that has happened. That is called a boxer registry. Boxrec, as I told you earlier, is the international organization accepted by all the world sanctioning bodies. This is located at UK, and a typical Boxrec event which is shown on the Boxrec page looks like this as it's shown now on the screen. Here you will find the name of the promoter, the event where it is being held, the date, the name of the commission which has sanctioned it, and the results of the bouts. And the scores are given, the names of referees are given, judges are given, and promoters around the world look for boxers from this Boxrec so that they can identify fighters, challengers for various competitions for their undercards around the world. So Boxrec is doing a great job in keeping the record of professional boxing bouts across the world. We will talk about other terms such as manager, second, trainer, cutman, and so on. There are a lot of people who are connected with professional boxing. I will explain all of them in the next episode.